Hello and a very warm welcome to another edition of Talking Germany, the show where we do just that. And today my guest here in the studio is one of the outstanding musicians from the world of classical music. She is the prize-winning cellist Sol Gabetta. Welcome to Talking Germany, Sol. Now, Sol was born in Argentina to parents with Russian, French and Italian roots. She now lives in Switzerland, but as we shall find out, she also has a very special relationship to this city, to Berlin. You don't have your instrument with you?
No, this is strange for me, because I am actually always traveling with the cello. Also, if I'm going to the toilets, you know, I just take the cello with me, and always I'm looking if I have a little more place just to bring the cello around myself. I feel much better.
It's a very intimate relationship that you have with the instrument. I saw an interview with you recently where you actually had the cello on your lap while you were speaking to the interviewer.
Right.
And you were clutching the instrument almost like a child.
Right. It's like a child, you know. Yeah. It's maybe more for me than as a child, because if you have a child, maybe you are not traveling all the time with this child. Sometimes you have your mom, which can look to this child, but to my child, I should actually look myself all the time. And not just that, but he has a very strong personality, so I should see how we can work together all the time.
Sure. Why the cello? Why not the flute or the trumpet or any other instrument?
Actually, I started with the violin. I wanted to be a pianist then. And with my first competition, I bought a clarinet. So it's a very complicated presentation of this world of music. But my brother is violinist, and he's 5 years older. So I wanted absolutely to have a cello, a biggest instrument, actually, than my brother. So, or just bass or cello, of course. It was the possibilities. But my mom became a cello from Tokyo at the time. I was in the Suzuki method, maybe you know that, where the child start to play music, without notes. I mean, just from hearing, you know. So you copy the teacher, or just if you have a mom at home, she can play you something, some small melodies, and you can just start to take this, like natural, you know, like very natural. You listen something and you just copy this. And it's actually a very good thing for the future, but it's very dangerous sometimes, because you should find a balance between really read and then be emotional free and
all
make
this
music.
is called the Suzuki method.
Yes, and it's quite famous actually. Also in America, it's quite famous. It's a very good one, but I think it was very important for me. Just when I was 10 years old, I became a very strong Russian school, and it was a big balance, you know. Actually, very big, perfect balance. Because now, for example, when I see if I need to learn a new concerto in 2 days by heart, it's quite easy for me. And maybe because I started like that.
We're going to be hearing much more about the young Sol in just shortly. First impressions we've had there. Now here is more about the Sol Gabetta story so far.
28-year-old Sol Gabetta is already viewed as one of the world's greatest contemporary cellists. Audiences and critics are enthralled by her musicality and her flawless and expressive playing style. Sol Gabetta's assertive, warm tone is generated by special technique, which involves not just playing with her fingertips, but with the entire finger pad. The celebrated cellist has devoted much energy and discipline into mastering an eclectic repertoire, including tangos from her homeland, Argentina, and Baroque classics. Sol Gabetta's family background is cosmopolitan and musical. Her mother, a Russian with a French passport, is a piano teacher. Her father has Italian roots. She has 3 older siblings. Her parents soon recognized their daughter's musical talent. Every 2 weeks, her father took her to cello lessons in Buenos Aires, 800 kilometers away. Sol Gabetta won her first cello competition at the age of 8. 2 years later, she won a scholarship to study at a music school in Madrid. She went on to study at the City of Basel Music Academy and spent 5 years at the Hans Eisler Academy of Music in Berlin. Today, she is herself a professor at the Basel Academy. Sol Gabetta's international breakthrough came in 2004 when she performed with the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra at the Lucerne Festival. Since then, she's made 5 CDs. She received a Grammy nomination and the German Echo Classical Music Prize for her debut album. She won the prize for a second time in 2009 for a recording of works by the Russian composer Dmitri Shostakovich. Now that she's in demand as a soloist all over the world, it certainly helps that she can speak 6 languages. When she's not touring the globe, this cosmopolitan musician likes to relax at her new home in Switzerland, not far from the city of Basel. Sol Gabetta plays on a rare instrument made by Guadagnini in 1759. She and her instrument maker are on a quest to get the best possible sound from her cello. Her most important and most beautiful language will always be music. And today, she's our guest on Talking Germany, Sol Gabetta.
Sol, you're very successful, as we've seen. It's an interesting question to work out what percentage of what you've achieved so far is due to natural talent and what percentage goes down to hard work.
I think it's very important to find a balance between these 2 points, because talent is just a gift. You have or you don't have a talent. But if you don't if you don't work in a good way with this talent, you can lose this talent very easy. Or maybe you have it, but you cannot use it. Yeah. So I think it's really, really the balance between these 2 points. Yeah. And it's quite difficult, because if you have a lot of talent, in general, you don't need to practice so much, because you have the feeling in 10 minutes you can get it. Yeah. And I think this is the problem many times, that when you are too talented, you are coming to the same point much faster than other people. And maybe these other people, they are not maybe so talented, but they know exactly how to focus on this, on this point. Yeah,
how hard do you work? How much do you practice on a daily basis?
It depends, because I'm traveling a lot at the moment. It's quite difficult to organize my day, to say, okay, I have all my day to practice today. So this was in the student time. That's why now I can understand my teacher when he told me at this time, just really, you should take profit of your time now and just practice and make everything now this repertoire, because you will see later, if you start really to play a lot of concerts and travel all the time, it will be very difficult to learn something new. And he was right. He was absolutely right. So I am really happy that someone told me that when I was 15 years old, or 14, actually. And then today I have much more time also to enjoy this kind of life. It's quite fun for me also, this life. But I should find a way, of course, also to sleep and to good eat, and everything is important, I told you, good balance.
The balance you were talking about. But there was let's go back to your very early days. There was a lot of sacrifice, not just for you. I mean, in that report, we heard about this incredible 800-kilometre journey from Cordoba to Buenos Aires twice a month for cello lessons. Tell me, what can you remember of that? That journey sounds remarkable.
For me, it was an amazing time, because always to go from Cordoba to Buenos Aires, this 800 kilometers.
Big city.
A very big city, and everything was possible to have there. If you want to go to the cinema, it was just much more interesting, much more bigger. I wanted absolutely, of course, in this time to go to McDonald's. It was very important for me, and my parents at home, they didn't want that absolutely. But for one time when I was going to my cello lesson, it was, if you have a good cello lesson, that maybe you can have all these things, It was really a very nice trip for me. But if I see today what my parents did before, I mean, it's just incredible, because to travel 2 times a month, something like 10 hours maybe, the whole night. My father was traveling, was driving the...
Did they know at that time how good you were? Were you viewed as an 8, 9, 10-year-old? Were you a Wunderkind?
No, not at all. I was not a Wunderkind. And I think, perchance, I was not. Because I think the life is much easier like that. If you have too much talent, if you have this kind of Wunderkind name, and also if you are sure that you are this kind of Wunderkind, because your parents and teachers maybe tell you that, I think it's much more complicated because you should live, you should actually, yes, you should live actually with this kind of title.
So we're coming back to what you said at the beginning, that you really need a balance between the talent you've got and the hard work that you put in, and you came into it as somebody who had to work very, very hard with the talent you had.
Yes, this was my person first, and then my teacher and my parents helped for that.
Okay.
But I think it's important also as a child to know what you want to do with the music, what you want to do actually in your life.
Okay.
Take serious everything what you take in the life.
The serious Sol Gabetta, not a wunderkind, but a very, very hard worker indeed. Some youngsters go on to make a big career, a glittering career, and others fall by the wayside. What makes the difference?
I think actually that the most important thing is just to be sure what you want to make in your life. This should come from yourself and not just from other parts, you know, just know what other people are expecting to make from you, you know.
And at what age did you realise that this is your future?
I was quite clear in my life. I was quite sure that I want to be a musician, but not if I want to be a soloist or play in an orchestra or teach or something else, but that I will have a connection with the music, absolutely. I think already this step from Argentina to Europe was very important for me, and also for the whole family, because it was a very big change. So it was quite serious. Or we make this change all together, the whole family, or we stay just there, and maybe we are musicians, maybe not.
When you talk about your family, how important for a young musician is the support you get from the people around you? Because certainly people like me have the impression that your life sometimes can be very lonely. I don't know if that's actually true.
Well, yes, can be, of course, because we are traveling many times alone, of course. But I am quite happy now because I have my family close to me. We are not living anymore together, but anyway, they are close to Basel. I'm living in Basel in Switzerland, and they are living in France. But you know, it's this very close place with Germany and Switzerland and France.
Of course,
And it's quite great because when I am there and I need something, I can just call my father if he can bring maybe the car to wash or the dress, my mom. You know, there are practical things, but very important for us because sometimes I am just 8 hours at home and I need to practice or I need just to relax. And I know that I can count with these people. I know these people are there. And I have a fantastic boyfriend also. He's helped me so much. So I think it's very important to have a family like that. But if you don't have this family, what can you do? Then you
need to build it up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to build this kind of emotional family in yourself. Yeah. This is also possible. You should have also this basis because otherwise when you are on travel, sometimes 1 month in America or other countries, if you feel bad, you cannot give also love to this music, love to these people, or something just that you really want to translate, you know, with this, with this piece or this interpretation.
Let me ask you about another strategy that comes from the music industry. The music industry likes to create Wunderkinder. The music industry also likes to say, look, this talented star is not just talented, she's good looking as well. And you've said, I don't want any of that. Or have you?
Well, no, I think I was also in this kind of point one day in my career on the beginning, absolutely. And it was maybe very good for the beginning, but it was also difficult maybe in the middle, in this 5-6 years from when I started, so to record CDs and to have many concerts. And it was difficult because sometimes you are representing yourself. I mean, you see yourself like another person. You see these photos and sometimes how the people see you actually. And you cannot feel yourself in this kind of picture. And I think this is very dangerous. When I saw just a second, for us a second is sometimes 1 year, you know, this kind of impression from outside. I was very afraid, and I was really working on that, just to not change my image, but to change my image in front of the other people, how I am really, how I want to be in front of the other people, real soul, you know. And I think it's not necessary to make so much if you feel well with yourself.
Wow.
No, but it's important to feel well with yourself.
It's very important. It's fascinating. We've had the serious Sol. We've had the very, very thoughtful Sol now. It's interesting. We've got to talk about Sol's music once again. She's brought along one of her CDs today. Her last CD, Hoffmann, Haydn, Mozart. It's very, very Viennese. It's signed by Sol. If you would like to have a go at winning it, all you need to do is write to us, including comments on the show. Write to this address, DWTV Talking Germany team at Wolterstrasse 6 in 13355 Berlin, Germany, or send us an email at talkinggermany@dwworld.de. We need to hear from you within 14 days, and I should remind you that our decision is final. Now, as we've seen, one reason why Sol Gabetta can make such wonderful music is that her family have, over the years, made big and brave sacrifices for her. They've also, I'm sure, made just as many sacrifices for their other children, not least Sol's older sister, who suffers from autism. I'm interested in how much of that, from that report, seems familiar to you. I know that your sister is quite a lot older than you are, so you probably didn't experience her as a small child, but some of that must be very familiar territory to you.
Exactly. So she was moving all the time. I mean, I don't know how she was as a child, but my mom told me she was already with 2 years old, just moving all the time, no? And this was, of course, the first sign why she was asking her, something is strange here. But she didn't know still about this autistic case, you know. It was very, very new for her also because it was the first child of the family. Yeah. So, of course, she was looking how to reach this kind of focus on this autism. And then they were trying a lot of doctors and therapies and everything. And nothing was really good, you know, for her. This was the most terrifying point, I think, for them, because just to have a feeling you should find your one therapy, you know, for her. I think it's difficult when you have the feeling you are alone.
How old is your sister now?
She's 15 years older than me.
Exactly, so she's over 40.
Yes,
yeah.
But she looks very young because she has not real problems, you know. I mean, she has a very big problem, but not really every day. So let me
just interrupt you for a second, because certainly in the English language it's a common way of speaking about autism to say that people suffer from autism. Is that the right word to use, or?
I think she's a happy girl. I think she's living very happy at the moment because she has this kind of balance from the family. She has the feeling we love her, we make everything for her. She's really part of the family. She's not outside of the family, and we are the most important other child because we are making, I don't know, our job and living just in other countries, and we are free, if you want to say. But of course, she's not free, and maybe she has this feeling, but she needs my parents like part of her. So my parents are actually living like three together.
Okay.
All time. They are like, my mom says all the time, I am like two bodies and one head. And that's right.
We're running out of time, but I would like to ask you one very quick question, because it really fascinates me. There are two, at least among you and your brothers and sisters, there are two extraordinary people, you and her. Is there a connection, a special connection between you two, would you say?
Well, I think, of course, there's a connection. First, because she's my sister, and I can feel her, and she can feel me. And I think she's much more sensitive than me, actually. She can feels me much more. It's incredible because she's going to many concerts with my parents. She loves music. Music makes her quiet. So sometimes when she's not really good, sometimes there are very strong periods.
So she goes to your concerts?
Oh, of course, yes.
And your concerts have a calming effect on her?
It's incredible, yes.
I'm sorry, we're going to have to stop there, but that's a lovely note to actually... We've got to wind down. I'm really, really sorry, but that's incredible. We traditionally, Sol, finish the show with a quiz at the end. I'm going to ask you some quick questions, get some quick answers from you. Your name is Sol for the sun. Do you prefer the sunshine or the snow?
Oh, no, sunshine, absolutely.
Live concert or recording?
Live concert.
Are you more Latin American or European?
Like both in the middle.
Passion or perfection?
passional.
Astor Piazzolla or Diego Maradona, two famous
No,
Argentinians.
Piazzolla, please.
Have you reached your peak or is the best yet to come?
What, sorry?
Have you reached your peak or is the best yet to come?
It's best to come.
Great stuff. She talks as well as she plays the cello. That's a great thing, isn't it? If you've enjoyed her company as much as I have, Sol Gabetta, come back next week. Just